Hi, welcome to Colleen's Opinions. Welcome back for a new topic tonight. Tonight I will be talking about my relationship with God. It's late. Most of the time when I be having on my pajamas because it's late. Everybody in my house in the bed. This is my me time. This is when I sit up at night and just wind down and look at TV. My son is in the bed, and I just be having a lot on my mind or whatever. But tonight I'm gonna talk about my relationship with God. And this was the topic. When I talk about God and my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the journey have not been easy. Now I did grow up in the church. Um, I grew up in the church. My mom made sure that I went to church and that I was an active member in the church. I started out singing in the Sunbeam choir, and then it was a little choir just for kids, probably like ages 4 to 10 or 4 to 12. But I remember that choir. My mom, she had directed the choir, and after singing in the Sunbeam choir, I then started singing in the youth and young adult choir, and I also urged my mom was like we had to do something, so I got tired of singing in the youth and young adult choir. So she was like, "Well, y'all gotta do something. You gonna usher or do something." So I always was in the church. We went to Bible, not well. We did go to Bible study, but we went to Sunday school. She made sure we went to Sunday school most of the time too. Um, but as I got older, I said by the time I got 16, that's when you start smelling yourself and all of that. So I stopped feeling like going to church. I used to want to go with my friends and be hanging out with them, and then can't even get up for church, telling my mama I don't feel like going to church. And then I thought it was something because I said, well, dang, she don't stop making me go to church. She just be like, all right, or whatever. So she had told me, she was like, well, I was about 17 or 18. She'll say, well, you ain't going to church. I be like, She'll be like, well, that's you. I done showed you what you supposed to do. You old enough to now. You old enough now. I shouldn't have to make you go. You should already know what you should do or whatever. So I'm like, I ain't going to no church or whatever. So then I didn't go. So, I just started, want to hang out at the park, want to be with my boyfriend instead of going to church. I just lost I didn't even pray. Like, when I was 18, I remember trying to pray when I was growing up as a child. And so, because I see my grandmama pray, then my mom used to make her pray before we go to bed. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I ask the Lord my soul to take. Amen. I remember that prayer. So, she used to always make us say that prayer before going to bed. I had an auntie. She used to always give us, send us videos out the Bible to watch. I remember Samson and Delilah. I remember all kinds of about the Noah's Ark. I remember we used to watch that. Mama had a book where she used to always read to us about church. But once I had strayed away from church, I had strayed away from God. Then I had end up getting a relationship with somebody that he was just going through a lot himself, and he was getting to a lot of black power, black knowledge, and finding yourself. And he had told me a lot of stuff, and I had even seen stuff that made me feel like, a lot of stuff in the Bible and a lot of stuff they had told us, that it wasn't true or whatever. So I had moved out I had to move from my hometown to Atlanta. You know, God was making a way for me to do all this stuff. And guess what? I went praying or nothing. Because I was told that when you praying, you just Like, we weren't praying or nothing. Like, Jesus and the sun in the sky was the same thing. Then I had videos and stuff that were making me, feel like this. And then I'm young or whatever. So a lot of this stuff is like, oh, I feel like I had just been told a bunch of lies or whatever. So I really did. I had strayed away from the church. And I just, I just feel like I was just in a dark space, a very dark spot in my life. And I remember um when I had started to, well, a lot of people, I was saying that I didn't believe. I had a time in my life, y'all, when I used to say I don't believe in Jesus, and I'm like, I cannot believe that I used to say that. So, like I said, I had a friend. He didn't say that he was Muslim, but a lot of his beliefs was like what Muslims do. Like, I had started eating pork. We only ate vegetables, which was good because I was small, and all of that. We was doing a lot of good stuff or whatever. The only thing, I didn't have God in my life. Well, I say I believed in God, but I didn't have nothing, nothing spiritual going on in my life. I'm just in up there, trying to please a man. Even though I did feel like I said, I did feel like a lot of the stuff was true or whatever. So a lot of stuff had started going on with me. And I remember God, I remember, different signs and stuff from God, trying to save me and kept trying to pull me in and reel me in or whatever. And then I remember living, we was staying together at the time. And I remember we was going through stuff. And I remember all of a sudden, y'all, um, I started getting mail from some kind of church. I don't even know. But it was just had like little messages in there for me. And when I tell you, I felt like that was God. That was God sending me messages. And every time I used to get the mail and used to open up and read like different stuff it was from some kind of church. But it felt like all of that was for me. So I remember I had started reading my Bible. I didn't care. And what had really made me think about, what I was doing. I remember him. He told me, he was like, what is your spirituality? Do you know, like, you ain't, because you have some people, they Christians, Muslims, Buddhists. What are you? And it's like, after he done tore me, or helped me get torn from Christianity and all of that, he gonna tell me down and tell me I didn't have nothing. After reason why I didn't, because I'm trying to follow up behind him or whatever. So God really started pulling me in. I started seeing all the signs and all of that. And then I remember something happened. I had ended up all of a sudden had to move from with him or whatever. So I remember after moving out from with him, I had moved in my own place. We had still stayed cool or whatever like that. And I remember I had started wanting to go to church. After I had moved from out with him, I started wanting to go to church and all of that. So I remember I had started going to my granddaddy's church. So I remember he had got in my head again, why you going to church? All of that. All of this stuff or whatever. So I had end up I had started working at this daycare, and I had met a girl. Well, me and her, we was the same age, and I remember I was going through so much with him, and then I remember I had started getting into the Bible, reading the Bible, and I was the one had made her start to get back into church, and to this day she still go to church. And I remember after all of this, y'all, do y'all know I strayed again? All because I was trying to make a boy happy, trying to make somebody love me. I felt like, I don't know, I guess I thought that, I don't know. I guess I love him more than I love myself. I love him more than I love God, more than I love Jesus, my relationship with God. I guess I felt like his relationship, me and his relationship, and pleasing him was more than my relationship with God and Jesus. You know? So I remember I wouldn't even stand with him no more. And me and my friend, we had started going to church and everything. And I remember straying again. And I remember she was like, but Janice, we was crying. I remember when we went to church, we went to my granddaddy's church. And when I went in that church, y'all, I was so full. I felt so full. And I remember she was full too. And I remember they had called us to altar call. And I went up to there and I was crying. She was crying. They was praying for us. You know, and we continued throughout that summer. We was doing stuff together. We was going to church and everything. So then I remember I had started feeling like, I guess I wanted to try to do stuff to still keep him. Me and him, I done moved from out with him, everything. And I'm still out on straight and everything. Then I remember she was calling me for me to go to church. Y'all, I wouldn't go to church or nothing. Then I remember I had ended up getting pregnant or whatever. And I ended up losing my baby. I had a miscarriage. I was like 24, about to be 25. And I just did not understand why. Why did I lose my child? Why did I have a miscarriage? You know, but now I understand it now. Because you know what? God have other plans. God had other plans. And I have learned too. God, he probably allowed me to go through that. That was a part of me, you know, building my relationship with him. Learning that you depend on God. Because after I had that miscarriage, me and him just really went our separate ways. After I had that miscarriage, I remember he wasn't even there for me. After I had the miscarriage like that, like I lost the baby, and me and him just went our separate ways, and something just pushed me away from him. I remember that whole summer, I just stayed away from him. I had went to Miami. I was just having me a good time or whatever. And he really didn't even reach out to me or nothing like that. He had done moved on with somebody else. Just like that. Somebody was living with him. I mean, he had done moved on. We had been together, had off and on and stuff for like 8, 9 years. And just like that, it was gone. But see, I said, you know what? That right there wasn't nobody but God, because we was unevenly yoked. We was unevenly yoked. And then you got to realize too, some religions work for some people. So maybe whatever he had going on in his beliefs, that worked for him. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. So after that, I had continued to try. No, I didn't. I think I was still trying to be on Muslim stuff, because that was how I was. That was how I was grieving him. I feel like I was still trying to please him or whatever. After he wasn't even in my life no more. Now I do feel like the Ankh cross is the first cross, and I do feel like it do mean protection, because I have an Ankh on my car, and I knock on wood. But when I tell you, it's like that Ankh on my car, it really do protect me. It do. Like, I never really told nobody that. If I get another car, I'm gonna put an Ankh cross on the front of that car. Because I really do believe that it is for protection. You know, the Ankh mean a whole lot of stuff. It mean protection, eternal life. It mean the other stuff too. I forgot all the other stuff, but it mean a whole lot. So, like I said, it just didn't work for me, I feel. And I caught a lot of bad luck. I feel like I caught so much bad luck. And I remember with him, he used to catch a lot of bad luck too. And I was just, I said, I had talk. I remember telling him, I don't know if there's something that I'm meant to be a mother. But I said I would like to be a mother. I remember praying about about having a baby. And the next month, I kid you not, God gave me my son. But I didn't know that my faith was going to be tested with my son. I always prayed over my child, even before I knew whether it was a boy or girl. I stayed praying over my body, my mind, body, and spirit. I stayed praying. Even going through my pregnancy, I had a good pregnancy. And I remember they had gave me some kind of test to see whether my child was going to have deficiencies or not. So they had told me after I had the test or whatever, they was telling me that the test came back that my baby could be Down syndrome. But they wanted to do it over because they were having problems with the machine and that it probably wasn't right. Y'all, I cried. I broke down. I remember I couldn't even hardly go to work. But I went on and went to work or whatever. And I remember, y'all, but I said, guess what? I kept on praying. I ain't give up. I prayed about it. And I said, whatever was for me was going to be for me. And I just prayed over. I prayed over my child. I stayed praying over my child. Well, a lot happened when I was pregnant with my son. I had lost my dad. Then they had started telling me. Then on top of that, they told me that his birth cord was not even fully attached to me. So that's why he was going to be on a small side anyway when he was born. I lost my dad. Then I was getting bad news about my pregnancy and everything. But y'all, I kept the faith. I kept on praying every day over my body, over my son, everything. So I remember going into my 6th month, they had started telling me that they started saying like mild preeclampsia. So with me having mild preeclampsia, then they were saying my son was barely attached to my body. They started having me to go see a specialist or whatever. She monitor twice a week to monitor my blood pressure, to make sure the baby is fine, the baby's not getting distressed and all of that. So about a month later, at 7 months, they end up having to take my son. I had went to one of my appointments with the specialist. That was like my blood pressure was so high that I was going to have to go to the hospital. So at that point, because I did not feel sick or nothing, y'all finna go home and get in bed or whatever. So I'm like, I'm just finna go. So I get to the hospital. They said my blood pressure high. They probably gonna have to keep me. So I called my baby dad. I'm like, they about to keep me or whatever like that. And they said I had to stay overnight. So they still got this stuff on me, listen to the baby heartbeat. Having them monitor my blood pressure, it still didn't go down. So the next morning, because he stayed all night with me. So the next morning, it was still high. So he had got up. Cause we ain't stayed that far down the street. So he had got up that morning and he said he was not gonna go to work. He just didn't feel like he needed to go to work because he just felt like, I guess I was gonna have the baby. And that what happened, they had took him at 11 Sunday morning or whatever, y'all. And I'ma tell y'all, I went scared. And I said, that wasn't nobody but God. Now, I was scared to see him because I thought my baby was going to be Down syndrome, y'all. And they said they weren't going to know really because I forgot to tell you, when the test came back, the second test came back with my son to see was he going to be Down syndrome. Nothing was available. Like, they did nothing was detected, so they couldn't tell me nothing. So, y'all, you can only imagine how I was feeling. So that pregnancy, I had done lost my daddy. They had done gave me bad news about my baby. And then I ended up having my son early. For all I believe because of the stress and everything I was going through. Y'all, my son was 2 pounds and 5 ounces. So he had to go to the NICU or whatever. Y'all, I just kept on praying. I just prayed. I never stopped praying. Like through my worst times, I kept praying just like I did. And y'all, when my son came out with nothing wrong with him at 7 months, they said that my baby was the smallest one in there, but he was one of the healthiest ones there. With nothing wrong with him, but he was underweight. That was it. He didn't have no deficiencies, nothing, no defects, nothing was wrong with my son. And that wasn't nothing but God. But guess what? It went over with. It was not, whatever I was going through, it still went over with. Because I had, my son ended up staying in NICU up until he was 2 months. So after I had him, I had to be back and forth, and I thank God I stayed right down the street from the hospital because I went up there every day till they sent my son home, y'all, and I kept on praying. I never gave up. And when I tell you, when I look back, now that time went by so fast, and didn't nobody do that but God. God was with me the whole time. It wasn't nobody but God. That's why I say you have to pray through your good and your bad times. Because God will never fail. God will never fail you. And I feel like with me developing a relationship with God, only thing I do is pray. Talk to God. I get up in the morning, y'all. I pray. That's what I do. Because one thing about God, now sometimes I know I make sure I pray, but even if I probably forget to pray in the morning, I go get what I always, and then when you pray, stop asking God for stuff. You ain't gotta ask God for stuff all the time or ask God to give people. Just thank God for being amazing. That's what I had to realize. Stop asking for stuff all the time. Praise God. God love to be praised. That's who I pray. That's my king. I praise him. Because without God on this earth, my life would be a living, I don't know. God is my sustainer. God is my supplier. And I also believe in guardian angels. Because before my daddy had died, I was getting blessed. And when he died, y'all, when I tell y'all so many miracles have happened in my life, money-wise, everything. I remember even when I was pregnant, I even lost my job, y'all, while I was pregnant. My supervisor, because I was working at this job, and a lady I knew, she was from my hometown. I didn't know her, but I ended up meeting her, and she had ended up giving me a job at this call center or whatever. So when she got me a job or whatever like that, well, really, she kept on telling me, because I was working with kids, with pre-K. So I worked with her at this other job at retail. So she kept on telling me that she was going to be a supervisor. She can get me a job. And I was just like, at first I was like, I didn't want to go, work with her and stuff like that. So she had done quit working at that job. It had been months. So I was working at the daycare. She come calling me, like she really begged me to get a job. For me to only find out, y'all, that she was getting paid. She was getting paid for people that she recruited. And I was wondering, like, why? Because I've seen a lot of people, she was recruiting them, and then they'll lose. She would find people, hire people, and fire people. And not thinking I was going to be somebody. Because I came to work, everything. And she ended up, because it's like, the job was where people be clicked up at or whatever. So she knew people all over the job. And I wasn't finna kiss her butt. I was not finna kiss her butt or whatever. But I didn't even do nothing to her. Like, we had somebody else that was working with us that we was from the country. And when I tell y'all, both of them stayed talking about each other to me. And me being the person I am, like I always say, everything's not meant to be told. I'm not no messy person. And even after I knew, I'm pregnant. It's like you really set me up because you thought, and then she fired me saying that, well, she had her friends to do it, saying that I had violated a policy, saying I had cussed at somebody on the phone. And I'm like, I didn't cuss at nobody on the phone. And I also had asked, could I listen to the call? And they was telling me I couldn't listen to my call. And even everybody know, if they saying you did something, why I couldn't listen to the call? Y'all, they fired me. I was 7 months pregnant when they fired me. Well, almost 7 months, I think. I was right at 7 months. And y'all, when I tell y'all, I was like, even though I didn't really have nothing to worry about, because I'm still living with my child's father. I was staying with him, he worked, and stuff like that. Y'all, and I knew I didn't do nothing wrong. I didn't do nothing wrong. And then the thing is, my supervisor used to be telling me that she was going to fire this other girl that was from my hometown. She used to always be talking about her, telling me that she was going to fire her. And the vice versa with the other lady. She used to be talking about her to me. I never told now one of them how much each other used to be talking about each other. And when she fired me, the other one was calling to check on me. Y'all, I remember I was so mad. And I kept on saying, I'm gonna tell her. But son said, Jan, don't do that. Just let them have each other. Or whatever. Because just like they was talking about each other to you, they been talking about you, and they not telling what else they been doing together. So I didn't even tell the other person what the other person was saying. I just left that alone. I never called her and asked her nothing about the job, nothing what happened. I just left it alone. I went straight to the unemployment office. Even the person sitting by me had told me, they said, you probably ain't finna, how they wrote it up. They said, you probably ain't finna get no unemployment for this, because they said I had violated policy. So, y'all, even the other lady that was calling me to check on me, she couldn't even believe I had got unemployment, because I'm pretty sure the supervisor had done said how they had wrote it up. They couldn't believe I got unemployment. But when you know you ain't did nothing, and even the unemployment people say, well, they couldn't even prove nothing. They couldn't even prove that I even did. So you know why? Because it wasn't nothing that I said. She just wanted to get rid of me. Because I went finna lick her butt. I went because she was doing a whole lot of nasty stuff on that job. And I remember praying when I started going to that job. But you know what? God removed me from them people. And I ended up getting unemployment. And then I would work. I like, dang, I could have been eligible to get paid while I was out too. But y'all, God was so good to me. God, and I feel like my daddy was up there working. I had got unemployment the whole time when I was out. I was getting paid and everything. That's how good my God is. People don't understand how good, they don't know when they be messing with a child of God. And to this day, ain't never one of them at that job no more. And they probably wish they would, could get with. They working at home now. But you have to mind how you treat a child of God. And I didn't even do nothing to the lady, but be nice to her. I came to work. I didn't hardly miss a day or none of that. She wanted somebody to be coming back telling her what these folks saying and all that. She should have knew everybody would talk about her. Like, that's to have means, and they be talking about her. So I don't know what it was, but that right there I learned. Do not take a job from people that you know. Because first of all, you don't know how people feel about them. Or whatever. The only thing had saved me, God. Back on subject, God is the one that had my back. God was by my side. Y'all, God is so good. And on this earth, that's all you need is a relationship with God. Build that relationship with God. And it was a book. It was a book too. That helped me have a better understanding about God and how to develop my relationship with God. Let me see, can I get this book? Y'all, hold on. This book is called Freedom is a Lifestyle. Butterfly. And it's by Dr. Kim King. Is this book. But this right here was such a beautiful book. It really, let me know. And this is the book. This is the book that I feel like it really enlightened me. And it helped me to know that you don't have to be perfect. You do not have to be perfect. And it also helped me to understand and showed me how to really develop a relationship with God. And it's called Freedom is a Lifestyle. And it's a Butterfly by Dr. Kim King. And it's a forward by Dr. Travis C. Jennings. But when I tell you y'all, this was such a great book. And I feel like everyone will enjoy it, and it will enlighten you like it did me. And like I said, your relationship with God is everything on this earth. And you have to also know, just like God bless people, the devil bless people too. You have evil people on this earth working for the devil. So you have to be careful. But like I said, I always make sure I pray before I go in the morning. When I get in the car by myself, I pray. You have to pray. You have to stay prayed up. You have to keep your household and things prayed over. Keep yourself protected. And it's like long time ago, before God had saved me, I didn't pray. And I remember having so much bad luck. I didn't hardly have no good luck. I used to be struggling. But since I have developed a relationship with God and just learn how to talk to God, learn how to ask stuff for God, ask stuff from God. And it's like my life has changed tremendously. Like I'm not even scared. Like I'm not living a scared life. You know, nothing like that. You have to get your understanding, because a lot of people don't understand. That's just like when I was a little girl. I didn't understand hardly nothing. What the pastor and stuff used to be talking about. But as I got older, you know, stuff started coming to me. But a lot of us, I'm not the only one. A lot of people don't know how to start a relationship with God. A lot of people feel like in order for them to have a relationship with God, even though they hear over and over again, nobody is perfect. You don't have to be perfect. They think they have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. God, Jesus went perfect. You know, there's the Son of God. God was a prophet. He walked this earth. God was not, Jesus was not perfect. Nobody is perfect. So, you know, this video was just about my journey with God. Like I said, in my relationship with God, it have not been easy. It have not been easy. But when I tell you, God was not finna let his child go. God was not finna let me go. Even when I was turning my back on God and Jesus, just acting like I didn't need them. They was right there near me, being faithful. And that's one thing about God. He is faithful to you if you ain't even faithful to him. And he is a forgiving God. But look, he's a jealous God too. He don't want you to sit up there and try to put somebody before him. No. You put God first at all times. Then your families. You don't put nobody before God. And that's what I had to learn about life. It's about God, their relationship. Well, I have really enjoyed talking to y'all about God and my relationship with God. And it's late, because I always do my videos late. And today I had said, I'm going to start getting up there looking a mess or whatever. And I got on my pajamas, and then it say love. So, yes, that's what I decided to do tonight. It's what came on my heart for me to talk about tonight. So, again, please like my video, subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell. And again, thank you for listening to Colleen's Opinions. Good night.